Namaste, everybody. Welcome back to Dr. Pai's Astrology channel. And I welcome Bhabajeet, very warm welcome to Bhabajeet again on our channel. Namaste, Bhabajeet. Thank you so much
Namaste,
for
namaste,
joining us
namaste.
today.
Nice to see you again.
So today, Babajit will be presenting with one of my very favorite topics, which I watched on his channel long time ago, and I was more curious about it, secrets of ascendants. And why is ascendant really important to look at the ascendant and how it actually shows up our different traits and personalities of the person. So I welcome you, Babajit, and please share. I'm excited, super
Thank you so
excited.
much. Thank you so much, Naujit. It's great to be back again at Dr. Pai's esteemed channel. And today, as we decided to take up this topic, Secrets of Ascendants, the ascendant is a very important house, or maybe the most important house, because it is about who we are. But let's start with the presentation. I have some questions, answers, so maybe that would be better. So today's presentation will be based on astrology and numerology. So in numerology, we have our date of birth alone, and in astrology, we have date, time, place, and the chart, of course. So if I go, like, the first thing is, why do we need to study the ascendant itself? Why is it? I mean, why at all we are studying this? Because we need to know, the main reason is, why is every ascendant different? So one thing is, what is every ascendant? That is also something we'll see. But today also we need to understand, because see, there are only 12 ascendants. And if you imagine there are 6 billion people, there are more than that. But if you take 6 billion, then if you divide by 12, so it is half a billion. So half a billion people are from a particular ascendant, actually more than that. But you will see every person, like if you take all the Aries ascendants, if you take all the Taurus ascendants, you take them in a line, and you just see their nature, you will see they're very different. Sometimes the Aries will behave like Gemini, sometimes they'll behave like Capricorn, and you'll try to think, what is this? Does this even work? Or you will say, oh, this person is, very flashy. Maybe this person is a Leo Lagna or Leo Sun sign, Moon sign. And then you see, no, this person has no Leo in him or her. So today, that's exactly what we will try to decipher using, astrology and numerology. Why does a particular ascendant behave in a particular way, and how to know at the end of the presentation, you will know how to know the most primary characteristics of a person. So when you see their date of birth and you see their horoscope, at the end, you should be able to come to a conclusion. All right, this person is made up of these three, or maybe two, or four, or five characteristics. And this you can use for career analysis, to give a consultation, like which is the profession which is best suited for you, or even better for marriage compatibility, so that you can know, are the natures aligning with both of them. Otherwise, it can be a difficult situation if two people get married with very different energies. So now, first of all, what is lagna? What is the ascendant? So the ascendant is where the intelligence is. It is the first house, and the word used for the ascendant is thi. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, first chapter, first verse, this is literally the first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And what is the Srimad Bhagavatam? Why is it important? Because it is the literature which was written by the great sage Vyasdev, who is the author of all the Vedic scriptures, almost all, not every, but he wrote this Srimad Bhagavatam when he was at the pinnacle of his spiritual maturity. So this is the culmination. It is the Srimad Bhagavatam is known as the culmination of all the Vedic scriptures. It is known as the Paramhamsa Samhita. Paramhamsa means the swan. Now, swans will not read books, but swan is a person who can separate the milk from the water. The swan only takes the essence. So in that, the shloka says Satyam Param Dhimahi. This means, this has many meanings, but in general, in essence, this means the goal of human life is to go towards the absolute truth and to meditate on God. This should be the ideal goal of human life. All right, so this now, the Lagna is the first house, is where the intelligence is. So the Lagna will tell us what is the level of potential that this person has. To what extent can this person go? Now, when we talk of Lagna, we need to talk of the other two houses. So the first house is the Lagna rising sign ascendant. It's the self, but it also represents equals around us. So it could be our colleagues, who are of similar interests or similar knowledge, similar expertise. The fifth house will represent our subordinates who need guidance from us. And the ninth house will represent people who are eligible to give guidance to us. And interestingly, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a shloka where Lord Krishna's elder brother Balaramji tells that the secret of happiness, he says there are three secrets to happiness. He says the first secret is whenever you are meeting somebody who is equal to you, you should share about yourself and learn from them about their life. And whenever you are meeting somebody who is subordinate to you, try to enlighten them, try to guide them, try to help them. And whenever you are meeting somebody more elevated than you, try to learn from them, try to respect them, try to gain knowledge from them. But unfortunately, in the material world, it happens exactly the opposite. What happens? Whenever we are meeting somebody who is equal to us, we love to boast, oh, I have had this, that, we boast in a very subtle way, right? And whenever, in general, if we meet somebody who is subordinate, they get bullied basically. Okay, hey, who are you? What do you know? I'll tell you what to do. So we don't have that helping attitude. And whenever we meet somebody who is more elevated than us, we are envious. Oh, why is this person getting the limelight? Why not me? I know more than him. So that explains why people are unhappy in this world, because we are doing exactly the opposite of what Balaramji has told us to do. So therefore, now when we know this, it's very important we understand the energies of the trines also. So now we will try to correlate our ascendant with the numerology. So suppose you have a particular ascendant. So what we do now is we take your date of birth. So let's take the date of birth and you take the sum of the day. So here I've taken an example. So this is 17 September 1950. Okay. So what we do is we take the sum of the day, which we call as a basic number. So we sum up 1 and 7, which is 8. Then we calculate the destiny number. Destiny number is the sum of the entire date of birth. So 17 plus 9 plus 1950. So if you add this comes to number 5. And then we calculate the date of birth numbers. Now, how you calculate the DOB numbers is you write all the numbers of the DOB as it is, except the first two digits of the year. So here, if you see 1, 7, then 9, and then 1950, among that we just write 5 because the first two digits of the year we omit. Okay. So now we do the collection. Now when we do collection, we combine all the numbers. So now in this collection, you will find 1, 7, 8, and 9 appear only one time. And the number 5 is appearing two times. One is the destiny number and one is in the date of birth numbers. So we write this as 5 two times. So we write 955 and all other numbers are the same. Now, this is very important. The numerology, numbers and correlation with ascendants. Now, what does this mean? It means if you have these numbers in numerology, then certain planets, their position and their traits and the zodiac signs which they lord will be extremely prominent in you. Extremely prominent. So, for example, if you have the number 1, which represents the sun, because in numerology the number 1 represents the sun, then you will have Leo traits very prominent. And you can also say wherever your sun is, that placement becomes very important. And whichever planets are in Leo, they also become very important. Okay. So then it means you will have a desire for, name, fame, and to do something big in life, especially if the number one is present only once. All right. So I can give a lot of examples of people who have the number one only once, like Donald Trump. He's a person. Then President Putin. Then Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Then these are just three examples, and you can see their personalities, very strong, very bold, very confident. Now, either they are good or bad, that's a debatable situation, that's not the point today. But you can see these three personalities and you can understand their nature. And also the number one in numerology, if you have, it can show you have a lot of interest towards real estate, or you might love to, gather land and resources, all right? And we can see, like, Donald Trump, he was a very realist, he was a very good real estate manager, and he was a big person, right, in real estate. Now, number two, if you have number two, this is the number of the moon. So this will make you a bit dreamy, emotional, you will have Cancer. Cancer will be very important if you have number two. Number three, if you have, then Sagittarius, Pisces, knowledge, all these will be very important for you. Okay. You will see almost every famous spiritual personality, they will somehow or the other have three in their date of birth. Somehow, when you do the collection, you will find three. You will always find, like you take Shri Ravi Shankarji's example, you will find three is there. You take Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev's example, you will find three is there. Now you have number four in DOV. This means Aquarius and Gemini are extremely prominent. Rahu is very important for you, and it can make you very eccentric. It can give you scandals and litigation. All right. So now how can we use this? Now suppose a person who has number four somewhere in their date of birth, if they have a very prominent sixth house, then we know this person will have relatively more troubles with litigation and court cases in life, because this Rahu energy is already there. And also, if the person has a very strong Aquarius or Gemini, then this person will have a very eccentric nature. Okay. Now, if you have number five, then your Gemini, Virgo, Taurus, these are signs of wealth. In numerology, number five is the sign of wealth. And in astrology, it will correlate with Gemini, Virgo, and Taurus. Taurus, as you know, is the original second sign. So this becomes very important. So whoever has five, they're brilliant marketers, they're brilliant communicators. Now, which is the sign of communication? It's Gemini, right? And people who have five in their date of birth, they're very expert in finding out newer and newer ways to make money in their life. Very, very, very expert with this. And if you have number six, well, needless to say, Venus, Taurus, opposite sex, luxuries, all these things will be very prominent. You meet anybody who has number six in their date of birth, and you will see, their shirt is tucked, they're like, they will have nice perfume, they will use face wash or whatever, they have a nice watch, they will be very brand conscious. You will always see this with number six. And number seven, if you have, then Ketu becomes very important. Scorpio, Sagittarius, Pisces, travel, spirituality, all these become very important. And if you have number eight, it's classic Saturn. Capricorn, number eight people, they can have humility. They are a bit down to earth. They are not like full of themselves all the time. And if you have number nine, you have the courage of Mars, and Aries, Scorpio. They become extremely important. So that means, now what's the goal of writing all this? It means if a person has nine in their date of birth and is a Aries Lagna, then the Aries traits will be very prominent. If a person has number six and is Libra or Taurus Lagna, the person is very charming, very attractive. Or if Venus is in not in the first but is in the fifth or seventh or ninth, then also, and the person has six, extremely charming. Like Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan, he has Venus in the fifth, and he has Number 6 in his date of birth. So extremely charming, and he's known as, King Khan, millions of followers worldwide. And now, what is important is to correlate the houses with the zodiac signs in astrology. So, for example, suppose you don't know numerology, you just have the horoscope. Let's assume you don't have the date of birth, you just have the chart. So, now if a person has too many planets in the first, 10th, or 11th in these three houses, irrespective of the zodiac signs, the person will have very strong Leo energy, because these are the houses which inspire you to do something big in life. And then when you dream big, you expect big, and you kind of, you feel, you are born to do big in life. Yeah, yes, please.
So you're saying, as far as understood, so first of all, with these numerology signs, if they, whatever the number is, for example,
Yeah,
if somebody has a number 5, right?
yeah.
And then we're looking at their chart, and then we can say if they have planets in Leo, Leo rising, like
Like
or
number 5 is for Mercury and money. So if with 5 they have, Gemini or Virgo Lagna, you know,
okay,
or if they have Mercury in the ascendant or fifth or ninth, then they will be behind money 24 by 7.
yes, okay, okay, got it, yeah, got it.
Then
Thank you.
this Mercurian nature will be extraordinary. It will be very high.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
So that is why I am giving these numbers and the planets and the signs. Okay.
yes,
Or,
yeah,
or suppose a person is a Libra Lagna, for example, and the person has 5 in date of birth and does not have, Mercury anywhere, first, fifth, or ninth. But if Mercury is in Virgo or Gemini, then also this will be extremely prominent. Okay.
okay.
And on top of that, if the person is a Mercurian Lagna like Gemini, Virgo, or Mercury is in 159, it will be like the person will only make friendships because he or she wants money. So this is like, an extreme scenario. Okay. Because the person is so prominently governed by Mercury. And when you see this, then if this person is your friend, you just have to talk to him about, which stock is getting, 10x in the next 3 weeks. Okay. He's not interested in 12% returns. He's like, no, no, I want 300% return in 10 days, right? So the market nature is extremely prominent. Extreme greed for money can be there. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is about astrology. So imagine you don't know the date of birth, but suppose the person has, prominent planets like Sun, Moon, Lagna, Lord, or, 4, 5, 6 planets. They're all cluttered in these three houses, first house, 10th house, 11th house. Oh my God, this person will be very dominating. This person will be very straightforward, very commanding. He will have a very strong personality, because now these three houses have a very similar energy like Leo. So now this means I will show you examples for Leo Lagna. If a person has Leo Lagna and in numerology has the number 1 and has prominent planets in the first house, 10th house, 11th house, I mean, that's it. The person is all Leo and there's no other zodiac sign. There's no other sign, there's no other business. And I'll show you the example, then you'll understand about whom I'm talking. Now, suppose you have planets in 4th, 5th, 8th, or 12th. Then you will have very prominent Cancer and Scorpio traits, extremely prominent. Even if you don't have any planets in Cancer or Scorpio, even if you are not Cancer Lagna, Scorpio Lagna, even then, if you are any ascendant you are, if you have majority planets in 8th house, 12th house, 4th house, 5th house, you'll be extremely emotional, extremely critical of yourself and maybe of others. You love to gossip and pull down others, do backbiting and all these things, politics, not the front politics, the back politics. And you can be extremely creative also, very creative. And this is similar to the number two in numerology because that is a moon kind of energy. So this is very true. So number now, if somebody has two in their numerology and has prominent planets, like Sun, Moon, Lagna, Lord, they are in these houses, fifth, eighth, or 12th, then this person has a very strong Cancer. Now you add a layer on top. This person is also Cancer ascendant. That's it. The deal is sealed. That's it. I mean, you don't need anything else. You know who this person is. This person is prominent Cancer and prominent Scorpio. Now, suppose you have prominent planets in fourth, fifth, or ninth. The ninth house can make a difference. And if you have three in your numerology, then Sagittarius, Pisces will be very prominent. This person would love to talk of spiritual stuff and go to spiritual places, meet their guru, indulge in spiritual communities in a good way, and this person would love, you can talk to them for hours. And along with that, if they have moon or sun or lagna lord in Sag and Pisces, this person is 100% governed by Jupiter, and this person has nothing to do with money or name and fame. And this person is like least interested. Even if you call them to the stage, they'll be like, okay, thank you, you do your job, I will push off. All right, they are like that. And now, if you have prominent planets in third, fifth, seventh, or 11th, then Aquarius and Gemini become very prominent. Karma houses, you are extremely social, you are extremely flamboyant, you are extremely outgoing, extreme extrovert people can be seen through this. And in numerology, if you have number four, which is again Rahu, eccentric, and or number five, or suppose you have four and five together, you're born on like 4th of May or 5th of April, and you have like, four planets in these four houses, or you have very prominent Aquarius, Gemini, then this person will have very strong Mercury and Rahu energies, extremely strong. So that's how you will know. Now, for money specifically, many person will ask, money. If you have prominent planets in the second, sixth, 10th, and 11th, you will have very strong Gemini energy. You'll be very good at, networking, talking to people, understanding people, scouting opportunities, new opportunities for career. They will jump into AI and all this, at the moment especially. And they will have very strong Virgo traits. They will be like master of their traits. So suppose you have prominent planets like Sun in 10th, or whatever, Moon in 11th, and more the better. And Taurus also will be very prominent. And similarly, if you have many planets in third, fifth, seventh, eighth, or 12th, extremely creative. You love creative self-expression. You love to draw. And if you have two or six in numerology, it is like the cherry on the top. So these people, 3, 5, 7, 8, 12, Taurus, Libra, they have no interest in money or, whatever, name, fame, they have no interest. They just want, they will do water painting, oil painting, they will sing and they will dance, and that is all their life is. So then this person is governed by Venus, and that is always important to them. So suppose you have a friend who is like this and it's their birthday. You give them a gift of, $10,000, they will not like it. You give them the highest spiritually evolved book, they are least interested. But you give them, some nice, song or whatever, anything, whatever makes them more creative, they will love you. They will like, they will not be able to forget this. And then if you have the 4, 5, 9 majority planets, and then Scorpio is the sign of research, Sagittarius, Pisces, these planets can also be very prominent. Okay. And now here's the difficult one. If you have many planets in the Dusthana houses, 6th, 8th, and 12th, majority planets or prominent planets like Sun, Moon, and Ascendant, then the Capricorn energy will be extremely strong. What is Capricorn? Capricorn is slow. Slow. Of course, slow and steady also wins the race. But when I say slow, what do I mean? I mean to say these people can have a very numerology 8 like energy. For example, everything will be delayed in their life. their job will be delayed. They will not find a job till they are 25, 27, 28. Their marriage is delayed 30, 35. And because these are dustana houses, they represent all the trouble that is there in the world. Every problem that exists is because of these three houses. So what happens when you are having problems all the time? Things get delayed, right? All the benchmarks in your life, like graduation, masters, job, car, home, everything is delayed. You are delayed by 5 years everywhere. Because these houses are giving you opposition all the time. Okay. But suppose along with these three, suppose you have majority planets in these three houses. And on top of that, in numerology, you have number 4, which is again scandal, court case, litigation, and number 8 is again a difficult number, numerology. Then this person's life is very difficult. This person will feel, why is everything so slow? People are getting married by the time they're 25. Why am I still not finding anybody? I am, 45. I can't seem to find anybody. So they will feel that Capricorn Saturn energy very strong. And last but not the least, this is the number and the planets 1, 6, and 10. This is the energy for singles. Single people, majority planets in the first house, sixth house, 10th house. Be happy alone. And if you have Aries ascendant with your sun in the first, 10th, or sixth, moon in these houses, you are extremely independent minded. You are like, I don't care who you are. You are my mother, father. I don't care. I just want to do what I want to do, and anybody who opposes me does not have a right to stay in my life. That is all it matters for me. All right. So that is how now this person is not just Aries Lagna. And on top of this, cherry on the cake, if you have 9 in numerology, my God, this is like the next level. You have to stay at least 2 meters away from this person, because this person is least bothered about you or anybody else, and this person is like, oh, this is my world and I'm gonna do my thing. If you like, you stay, or if you don't like, you just get out of here. I don't give a damn about you. So this is all what is important. So now you know how you can, know that if just a person is Aries, you may find the person is very nice, very sweet, loving, caring. Maybe then the person is Aries Lagna, but might have many planets in, number 2, as you can see, like the third house, fifth house, seventh house, eighth house, 12th house. So this will make the person very creative, now then the person may like cooking, because this is a Mars Venus combination. Okay, but the person may not be very aggressive. Okay, so now we know how these traits are actually coming out. All right, so now I have one question for you. Whenever you hear the word Leo ascendant, what comes to your mind? Like, what kind of a person maybe that is?
Um, when I hear about Leo, the word that comes in my mind, the first word that comes in my mind would be generous, party
Okay.
person, like partying, or very generous, or very outgoing and warm. Warm. That's what I would say.
Okay, okay. Yeah, that's very correct, because Leo is the original fifth house. Fifth house can also show donations and generosity, creativity. You are very right. But
And I also feel they're very good with their time because I have a lot of Leos around me. They're very punctual. I find very time focused, like time, and
yeah,
they get once they give their word, they mostly stick with it. So more in their integrity. That's what
yeah,
my take on it. Yeah.
yes, you are perfectly right, because it's like the sun always shows up on time, right?
Yes. Yes.
So now we have one amazing example, and unfortunately, I made this presentation some time back. Because if I would have made this today, the presentation would have been a bit different, because the person who I'm about to show you has just survived an assassination attempt.
So Trump, yeah.
Yes, everybody's favorite. Donald John Trump. He is classic Leo Lagna, but that's not it. There are many facets to this. Now let us do the numerology again. So his basic number is 1 and 4 is 5. His destiny number, you add everything. The whole DOB comes to 4. So his DOB numbers are 1, 4, and you see 4 is there two times, 6 is there two times. So we write 1, double 4, double 6. Now we collect all the numbers. So he has 1 and 4 is there three times. So he has 1, triple 4, single 5, and he has double 6. All right. So now we will see how this is actually making this personality at the end, how everybody knows him to be. Not just because he's Leo Lagna. I mean, there's so many Leo Lagnas, Not everybody is like Trump. But why is he like that? That's exactly what we'll see today. So now, if you see the collection, we'll go back to our basics. What does number one show? It shows, you love name and fame, you are obsessed about yourself. You love to talk about yourself, your achievements, how you are like the one chosen by God or somebody like that. Okay. And one also shows real estate, if you remember, the slide. And he was a great, I mean, maybe he is still, I mean, his net worth is, some $5 billion or something like that. And we have number four, the number of Rahu. What was Rahu? And look at this date of birth. My goodness, he has the number four three times. This is madness. And this person has, I mean, maybe there is no scandal in earth which this person has not gone through, and no litigation. Even now, he's in the presidential race, and like I don't know how many, a couple dozen or maybe even more court cases against him. Sometimes he's like convicted, sometimes he's out, and yes, he has declared bankruptcy also, to sometime. I mean, not exactly bankruptcy, but in layman's terms, something similar. Now, why is this? This is because of number four, and he has a very difficult number four energy. So you will never find, if you see his entire life, like he's I think 78 or something like, if you try to see every year of his life, you will never find a time where he was peaceful. This is because of the number four and Rahu energy. And in terms of wealth, number five, basics again, Mercury is the number of wealth. He's very good at earning money. He knows how to bring money. Where is money? That is why he keeps telling, we can't let China take the jobs, and all these things he says. So he wants to bring money to his country. He wants to make himself wealthy, his family wealthy, and maybe also his country. And number six, what is number six? It is the number of Venus. What is Venus? Venus is, woman for a man, and I mean, maybe the rest is history for him. He has, I think this is his second or third marriage, if I'm correct. And like, you combine six and four, all, scandals related to women, and, whatever, crazy experiences. But now we will use astrology, because this is not just enough. Because when Donald Trump was born, the day so many people were born, so
Yeah.
does it mean everybody will turn out to be like him? Well, certainly not. So now we will know why. So now we have used layer one, so which is numerology. So now we know Sun, Rahu, Mercury, Venus. These four are the most important planets. These four planets will decide his destiny, because these numbers are repeating in his date of birth. Okay. So that means Leo energy, Aquarius, Gemini energy, Virgo, Taurus, wealth, and, women, Libra, and Taurus, and all this. These are the most important signs for him. And then now we go to his horoscope. This is his chart. So now, Leo Lagna again. He has number one. So, number one he has in numerology. So, that is like Leo Lagna. But that's not enough. In the astrology numbers, I said the first 10th and 11th, if a person has many planets, the person will be like a Leo. Doesn't matter what is his ascendant or moon sign, sun sign. So now look at the number of planets he has in these houses. I mean, this is crazy. This is madness. You have the sun, which is also your Lagnesh, your Lagna Lord. So it is like double points. Your Lagna Lord is in the 10th house. Then you have Jupiter, Mercury, Ketu, three planets. And Mercury energy is also there in the fifth. I mean, it represents number five, which he already has in numerology, and here also it is in the 11th. Phenomenally powerful, great placement for money, wealth, and it is in own sign Gemini. So, he's this flamboyant talker all the time. He's never quiet, always, like blabbering, like all the time. He's like speaking, and, he cannot listen to anybody. He just wants to speak and talk, right? So now, name, fame, power, position, numerology 1 and Lagna Lord 10th house, prominent 11th, very, very, very strong horoscope. Then adding to that, he's Leo Lagna. So now, the Leo sun traits are very prominent in the person. And then the Lagna Lord is in 10th. Jupiter, Mercury, these are karakas for intelligence and networking, knowledge, and he knows almost every famous person. And like 20, 30 years back, I've heard, in some interview, he said, I will be the president of the US one day, So, of course, now this shows he has extreme high ambition. He's a very ambitious person. He wants to, I mean, if he had the power, he would be like, if he wanted, imagine the whole world was a government, he would be the, president or king of the world. That is what he wants, because he's primarily governed by Leo traits, and Leo is extremely strong because of his date of birth and these placements. But that's not all his life, he also has other things in his life. So now, wealth, like, he's a billionaire, $5 billion of net worth. So you now see second house, sixth house, 10th house, 11th house, Taurus, Virgo, Gemini. These houses, these zodiac signs will give you planets. Now look at his chart. I mean, his Lagna Lord is one of these signs, Taurus. And then the 10th house is there. Then look at the number of planets he has in Gemini. I mean, this is crazy. This is madness. His Jupiter, Mercury in the 11th in Gemini, and that too Mercury. It's like the cherry on the top. Okay, so very good with wealth. He knows, how which area it will appreciate. That's why he always keeps saying, in real estate, location, 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 very important. So he's very good at scouting opportunities, for wealth. And now recently in the Bitcoin conference, I think he said, we want to make US the Bitcoin mining capital of the world, or some other crazy statement he has given. Now, why is he interested in Bitcoin? Because he wants everything to happen in US so that, he and his, the country is prosper. That is what his agenda is. He's least bothered about Bitcoin. So this shows he's not bothered with the route. He is only bothered with the end goal. So in short, whatever will make him money, he will take that route. He's not very much bothered. I will get it through crypto or real estate or bank services, hospitality. He's not bothered with that. Then scandals. If you remember, number four, very scandalous. And if you also remember, in astrology, as I said, if you have too many planets in the fourth house, fifth house, eighth house, 12th house, then your moon becomes very important. And if you also have planets in Scorpio, look which planet is sitting in Scorpio. So he has moon in the fourth, he has two planets in the fifth house, and look at the 12th house, which is the planet sitting there. It's Venus. So he has a very strong Scorpio energy. He has a very strong Cancer energy because fourth house is the Cancer energy. So he can be extremely needy at times. He can have a very strong desire for validation from others. Especially from members of the opposite sex. It can be very difficult for him to tolerate if a lady, says something, or tries to prove that she's better than you or something like that. Okay, it can be very difficult for his ego and his self-worth. And of course, 12th house. I mean, so many allegations or scandals in regards to women. So this is what you will see. So this is because of these houses and the date of birth and everything combined. And now real estate. Real estate numerology number one, that shows real estate as we had seen before. Now in astrology, we know the fourth house is the prime house of real estate. It shows, your real estate empire and everything. So now you can see for business, which are the Karakas, Mercury primarily. And in astrology, Mars and Saturn also represent real estate because they are the Karaka for land. So Mars Saturn has to be having some connection with the either the fourth house or the third, seventh, or 11, because these three houses, 3, 7, 11, they are the Karakas, primarily for business and socializing network. So he has an exalted Saturn in the third house. He's very good at networking. He's very good at making friends and sometimes enemies also. So the fourth house has moon. He has numerology number one. So he's very interested in real estate. He loves to, own hotels, land, and buildings. He just knows it. And of course, Mercury is there in the 11th. His 11th house is already a very, very, very powerful house. So he has four planets in these three houses, the third, seventh, 11th. He has four planets. So he's like a born businessman. He cannot do job. You cannot employ this person. It's not possible. And of course, he had, his father gave him some $1 million or something like long time back, and he made like 5 billion out of it. That's okay. Now, Moon is also there in the fourth. So we have the fourth house and Saturn exalted in the third, Saturn Karaka for real estate in the house of business. And the cherry on the top, I think the best placement in his chart, Mercury in own sign in Gemini in the 11th house. Phenomenal. I mean, he can he can scout all opportunities very brilliantly for real estate. So now this will take him towards real estate, but in general about wealth and money. So at the end, you have to use the dashas and transits because sometimes a planet may be placed, like for example, in his case, maybe a planet is placed in a sign or in a house which is not kind of favoring all these traits that we discussed. Okay, but for him it won't be like this because his prominent energies are coming from the 10th house, 11th house. It is coming from the house of scandals, the 12th house, Venus, and real estate, fourth house, third house. So for him, we can conclude whichever dasha comes in his life will revolve around these three, four areas. One is, name, fame, power, position. Then, money. Then is, court cases and scandals related to women. Could be, divorce and all this also. And if you see his life, you see it in Google or you talk to him personally, whatever, you will see his life is governed by these four principles. You will very rarely will see that there is something beyond all this in his life. Okay, I mean very rarely. I mean, of course, he has a good family and all this. That's there. That's a part. But in general, I mean, if you ask about Trump, what they will say? Oh, he's very scandalous. He's full of himself. He has trouble with women. This is what they will say. And he's a very rich person, right? So now you can conclude that this person is not just a Leo Lagna. This person has Leo in like, maximum. And this person is not just having Mercury in Gemini. This Mercury is in Gemini in the 11th, and also he has 5 in numerology. So this person is extremely good with wealth. So this is your second conclusion. And Venus, Moon, Cancer, fourth house, 12th house, problems with women, scandal, and all this. All right. So you can combine, court cases and scandals. So that is how you will know who this person is. And now for him, of course, the ascendant is very, very important. So if you combine everything and you try to rate, which is most top, from for him, you can conclude that the ascendant will dictate. So for him, his most important job is, he's not, behind some other woman. He's not behind money. He's behind power, and he wants to be the next president of the United States. So that is how you know who the person is, what is the ascendant, and because there are many energies in the horoscope which can be a bit similar. Like, Sun and Mercury energies can be very similar. You would like to become an entrepreneur, you would like to, get money from investors. So these are very similar energies, and that is how you can actually know who this person is. So basically, to summarize, this person, Donald J. Trump, is a very strong Leo and a very strong Gemini with some, Rahu energies, scandal and women and all this. Okay. But primarily, he is a combination of Leo and Gemini. That's the summary of the horoscope.
Wonderful.
And of course, at the end, we always have palmistry. If the pinky finger it's very long, then the person's Mercury is like extremely strong. The person can do marketing, sales, and all this, very strongly. Okay, so we need palmistry also, and it's like on top of astrology and numerology, you use palmistry. And if the Jupiter mount is, very protruded below the index finger, the person is a bit too full of himself sometimes. So, so then okay, if the person is Leo Lagna and Leo Sun, Leo Moon, and this Jupiter mount is very protruded, the person will be a bit, too full of himself, and you may warn him that maybe your married life can suffer a bit because your spouse might complain that you don't listen to me, you just want me to listen to you. Okay. Or maybe if the amount of Venus is not the best, it may not be very supportive for your marriage. So therefore, we check the date of birth and then we see how the energies are harmonizing with the horoscope and the houses, and most importantly, the zodiac signs. Like for example, if a planet is in fourth or 12th, it may be in any zodiac sign, but it is like having that planet in Scorpio, for example, because these houses can make you very emotional and it can make you very scandalous. Now, who gets into scandals? Mostly people who cannot control themselves, right? They are, doing something which they should not. Why? Because they don't have control. No sense control. Now, which houses take away sense control? It is primarily the eighth and the 12th. So, if a person has too many planets there, even if the person has a good chart, the person may run into scandals. Occasionally, the person is, not able to keep the boundaries, for marriage or anything. In the profession, the person may have some forgery or something like that. Okay. So, palmistry is also important. And I always use the date of birth, then I use astrology, and then I confirm whatever is there in the palm, in the palmistry. And when you unite these three sciences, you get the best results actually. Thank you very much. Please, you are free to ask any question if required.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Babaji. This was wonderful. I mean, not only you did the secret of ascendants, but you also added like numerology and palmistry. And it's really beautiful that it's a very comprehensive analysis because it brings like, your hand and your date of birth and then with the ascendants. So this was very profound and thank you. Thank you so
My
much.
pleasure, my pleasure. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your invitation, and yeah, looking forward to see the responses of people and their comments.
Yes, and just let us know if you guys have any specific topic that you want Babaji to present with us. Just
Sure,
comment
sure.
below and we will bring him back again soon with that topic or newer topic that I or him want to do. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Namaste.
All right.